Australian wildfires are both sporadic and dangerous, and are common in the banks of the Blue Mountains. When the city firefighters are busy, who is left to fight the fires when they're away?
Right now there are 7 fires burning at emergency level.
Now Australia's bushfires have burned through 8 billion hectares of land.
Bushfire burning about an hour out of Canberra have been told it's too late to leave their properties.
And there is a heightened risk of a fire-generated thunderstorm.
Firefighters walked into the gates of hell.
We came from Castle Hill originally, and we were here for about 4 years before the fire unit was started. And it was really, the idea was to sort of empower and enable local residents to cope with fire that was in their area. The fire brigade brings its truck into the paddock here, and the firemen all line up along this fence, which is a fire line.
The trigger really was there was a fire behind our house, which was started by a backburn which got out of control, which brought it very close to home as far as the fires are concerned. And when they decided that they'd have the CFU units, we're only too pleased to join in and understand how to approach a fire, what to do, how to protect the houses. And that was the main thing. We weren't firefighters. We were in fact taken on as protectors of your own property and training others in the street to understand that they had to protect their property by various means.
The Community Fire Unit in Springwood, New South Wales, is made up of those aged 60 years and older. Together, members of the Community Fire Unit feel safe knowing they've been properly trained.
Now, we're not directly fighting the fires, but sometimes if there's a spot fire, so if embers land near your house and it starts a small fire, if there's no one there to put out the flames, it can build into a big fire. CFU can be there and say, there's a small fire there, we'll go and put that out before it develops into something bigger.
So I've been trained with the CFU, and I know how to operate the pump and the hoses and to put a standpipe into the water supply that you'll find on the mains water. It's our responsibility to maintain the fire safety of that. That's what we bought into. So we have a 23,000 litre water tank and a 75,000 litre pool for firefighting resources, have our own pump and hoses, sprinklers on the roofs. So we feel reasonably well prepared. We're reasonably well educated.
The months of Black Summer were the worst recorded bushfire months on record here in Australia. The people closest to the blaze, like those of the Community Fire Unit, were some of the many who were hit the hardest.
One of the most recent fires, not fortunately in this area, but in the Springwood area, 200 houses were burnt down in 200 minutes. It was a fierce wind. It started with a tree falling on some electric wires. That set the leaves on fire, the wind blew them, and the development of that fire was just unbelievable.
I don't think anyone was prepared for Black Summer, except for some of the very top brass who tried to warn other people about the impending situation.
The main effect on me, like a lot of firefighters who are self-employed, is it took us away from our businesses for an extended period of time. I was away from my business for 2 months, and then it took me 3 years to catch up for all the time I lost.
Our daughter lives in another street quite close to here, and her children were at school in Winmalee, which is the next little township, and the big fire went between the two, and we couldn't get to fetch the children. She couldn't get to fetch the children, nor could her husband, and they had to go a circuitous route through Agnes Banks, which is, a long way round, to get the children and then take them out the other end.
The vegetation was just so dry that the fire just flared up immensely, flame heights of probably 20 to 30 metres at least. It was very unnerving to see how much it took off in relatively favourable conditions.
Black Summer is just one example of the impact bushfires have on the community. Luckily, knowledge of how to protect their homes and the homes of others is taught by both the Chief of the Community Fire Unit and members of the Rural Fire Unit.
If we didn't have a CFU, obviously individuals would be more reliant on the fire brigade. So, you'd expect the fire brigade to be here if there was any hint of a fire or something going wrong, or if you weren't sure. You'd be in the dark.
I don't think we can have too much awareness of the threat of fires. So if the Black Summer has triggered some people reassessing their fire preparedness and how they can fight fires, it's a good thing.
And it shows you the value of units like this in keeping up with the way that the fire brigade fights fires, because it's changed over the last 10 years particularly, because fires are so much fiercer now and much more fast moving.
It's actually a fun thing. I mean, we do our training sessions, I wouldn't call them extremely regular, but we try to do one at least once a month. And you get to meet the people in the street and you keep in touch with them and what's going on. So it's a community thing. It's not just the firefighting or the fire training and that's sort of part of the structure. It's more of the social aspect of it.
They're big properties. We don't know our neighbour, or didn't know our neighbours very well. And so we all do know each other now, because we have social meetings. We have a Christmas party, which Mike has always organised. So that keeps us in touch with each other. So any of us who are less able, and as we get older, obviously becoming less able, other people can look after us. They know how we are, what we're doing. They know if we're here or if we're well.
I suppose the role is to prepare our properties and to protect our properties as best we can. But I think the CFU is more than that. In a small, I suppose it's different for every street, but our little area, we get to know each other, and we have those regular get-togethers and celebrations. And I think it's that camaraderie and the togetherness of the community, I think, that sort of makes it worthwhile.